Starbucks did not suddenly become unknown. It became easier to describe as convenient than as special. That is why the slogan matters. Back to Starbucks is really an admission that the brand had stopped feeling enough like in the store. Brian Niccol is not trying to invent a new business, he is trying to rebuild the experience that once made the scale machine premium instead of forgettable. Starbucks built more than a beverage habit. It built a premium routine people could recognize almost anywhere, from the logo to the menu board to the way the room felt when they went in. That experience is what gave the brand pricing power and daily frequency. Customers were not only buying coffee, they were buying a small sense of place and predictability. When a brand like that starts rushed, overcomplicated, or interchangeable, the problem is deeper than one bad quarter. The value promise itself starts to thin out. In June 2025, Niccol told partners that performance was not yet where the company wanted it to be, even though he said he could feel momentum in the coffeehouses and see it in pilot results. That language points to the real issue. Starbucks did not only need more traffic, it needed stores, labor, and decision-making to work together in a way customers could actually feel. Once the brand drifts too far toward pure throughput, every extra feature, every extra customization, and every extra handoff risks making the whole place feel less like a coffeehouse and more like a queue. At Starbucks' March 2026 annual meeting, Niccol said the company was ahead of schedule on the turnaround and pointed to 4 areas: customer experience, coffeehouse experience, brand relevance and digital engagement, and international growth. He said Green Apron Service, backed by more than $500 million invested in hours and tools, was improving throughput, accuracy, and connectivity. He also said more than 1,000 coffeehouse uplifts were expected by the end of fiscal 2026. That tells you exactly what the turnaround is. Starbucks is paying to restore warmth, seating, service consistency, and partner execution because the company believes better economics begin with a better visit. In the first quarter of fiscal 2026, Starbucks said global revenue grew 5% to $9.9 billion and global comparable store sales accelerated to 4% growth. Niccol said U.S. company-operated transactions grew year over year for the first time in 8 quarters. While Starbucks Rewards 90-day active members reached a record 35.5 million customers, China comparable sales also accelerated to 7%. That matters because turnarounds like this usually fail when customers do not come back. Starbucks is now showing top-line evidence that people are returning before the whole profit model has finished healing. The same quarter also showed job is not finished. Starbucks reported consolidated operating margin of 10.1%, down 180 basis points from the prior year. That is the tension inside the strategy. The company can invest in labor, tools, and store upgrades to make the visit better. But those investments only become a real turnaround if traffic, ticket, and throughput eventually convert into stronger margins. If Starbucks only restores the feeling without rebuilding the economics, Back to Starbucks becomes an expensive slogan. If it converts the feeling into repeat habit and better returns, it becomes a textbook premium brand recovery. That is why Starbucks is such a useful case. The company did not need a radical new product story nearly as much as it needed to recover why customers wanted the place in the first place. When a premium habit brand scales so far that the experience feels thinner, more stores and more features do not solve the problem. They often hide it for a while. The real turnaround is rebuilding the reason the brand mattered, then proving that reason can still carry the economics. That is what Starbucks is trying to do now, and that is why this recovery is worth watching all the way through.